Just spray it on and wipe it off. That's all it takes. For more information, call us toll-free. Visit chalkoff.com or call your local retailer and ask for it by name. That's Chalk Off, the complete pool table cleaner. You're watching Billiard Club Network, pool's #1 channel online and on TV worldwide. It's all brought to you by Chalk Off, Pool Table Cleaner, and the Billiard Club Pro Shop. Supporting these sponsors will guarantee more great pool for your viewing pleasure. Join the club. Subscribe now. This is the U.S. Open 9-Ball Championship.
Hello, everyone, and a very good day to you. Welcome to Chesapeake, Virginia for the U.S. Open 9-Ball Championships. Jim White, along with my cohort Billy Incardona. And Billy, this is one to whet the appetite of every pool player, every fan that has a pulse.
I'm really nervous. Yeah, I'm excited. Do you know Efren Reyes is really a good singer? He really
better than you.
Karaoke, I mean, great. Francisco Bustamante, great dancer. I mean, I watched him dance in Germany. Can't beat him. But let's talk a little bit about their pool game, okay? This is really going to be great. I can't wait.
Well, I'll tell you what, they're great friends off the table, arch rivals on it. And I know all these fans can't wait to get it on, so let's turn it right over to our MC and bring the players out.
Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Billy. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the U.S. Open, and you're on Billiard Club Network. This time we'd like to introduce our officials for this match. Our official rack girl is Miss Tasha Phibbs. Can we have a hand for Tasha Phibbs, please? Thank you. And our official ring card girl is Miss Heather Evans. And at this time, we'd like to introduce the principals for this match. Coming out of the red corner, sponsored on tour by Pagulayan Sports, player representative for Bear Q's of Germany. Twice he has won the $50,000 winner-take-all Challenge of Champions, a former #1 ranked player in the world on the Camel Series. Please welcome, from the Republic of the Philippines, Francisco Bustamante. Thank you. And his opponent, also sponsored by Pagulayan Sports, player representative for San Miguel Beer, two-time World 8-Ball champion, former winner of the ESPN Ultimate 9-Ball Challenge, the most recent inductee into the BCA Hall of Fame. Please welcome an international superstar known as the Magician, from the Republic of the Philippines, the Magician himself, Mr. Efren Reyes. Thank you. And gentlemen, you may lag for the first break.
The lag to kick things off here. Not many empty seats in the conference center in Chesapeake for this one. Of that, you can rest assured. Two legends of the game, and they're locking horns here for all of us to watch.
Well, Jim, these two guys are really genuinely great people. I mean, I've been to many places with both of these guys, and
well, I can't believe you said they were a better singer than you.
Well, they are true. Efren loves karaoke.
Push the envelope.
No, seriously, he loves karaoke. And when I was in Munich, Germany, at the Munich Masters, I believe it was in, let me see, it must have been around 91, 92. I believe Bustamante won the tournament. And boy, can he dance. I saw him out on the dance floor, and he could move. You can watch him move around the table. He has grace.
He moves around the table pretty good, too. Well, I can tell you that as far as Francisco is concerned, he's one up on Reyes as of late. He beat Efren in the World 9-Ball Championships a few months back, so this is a chance for Reyes to get a little payback.
And I'm going to tell you something. Reyes wants to win this match real bad.
They had to kick him off the table to start it out. Rack #1 of a possible 21. And Efren with the wing ball, but nothing easy on the one.
And if you notice, he really didn't hit it with much power, rather a softer speed. I don't know. I guess the speed index isn't on the screen yet, but eventually they may put it up, and we'll be able to tell how hard he did strike the break. But anyways, I know both of these players want this match extremely bad, even though they're the closest friends. 19.9 miles per hour, almost 20 miles per hour. A little harder than I thought. I thought it was around 18, but hit it about 20 miles per hour.
They know each other's games inside out, Bill.
Oh, they sure do. And this could be one of the greatest matches anyone could watch. Remember, that's so much talent out there.
You'll see some of the best pick shots you're ever likely to witness. Both of these players. Reyes, they call him the magician. Back home, he's known as Bata.
What a tremendous touch that was. It's very difficult to do what he just did. And he made it appear like it was simple, but it wasn't simple by any means. It was extremely difficult to have that type of a touch to reposition the cue ball behind one ball, the 2 ball. That's the only ball he had to protect it. One.
This is like wading in the water, though, you feel. Just feeling each other out. Look at that already. Bustamante almost kicking that one in, but he's left Reyes with a chance.
And the problem the Reyes has out there is he's getting from the 2 to the 3. If there is a problem. Anyway, here's the 1, which will be pocketed in this corner. And if I see it correctly, he'll draw the cue ball then straight back somewhere in this area right here for the 2. And he should come up to the center of the table for the 3, which I do believe he was able to force it over, which I do believe is pocketable in the lower left-hand corner. Maybe not from my vantage point. Can you tell, Jim, if the 3 passes the 5?
Very close. Our overhead camera doesn't really give us any indication, but he's very straight on this, too. And again, it doesn't look like it does, Bill.
Okay, if it does pass, we'll say it does. We'll say the 3 passes into the corner. He'll draw the cue ball back to this position over here. Because he can't afford to go too far over because of the position of the 4 and 9.
Now, if it doesn't pass and he can get that cue ball near the middle of the table.
He's drawn it totally down table.
Well, I was going to say the possibility of a billiard onto the 5, but now, the way that Efren's played this, I don't believe that 3 passes. I think he was trying to get below it to play a good, aggressive safety. He's just had a good look.
I think it passes. I believe he played this angle, which would put him on the 4 much more naturally.
No danger. No danger at all. He knew it was available right away.
Yeah. And the way he played position on the 3 was much better than the way I drew it, because the way I drew it doesn't put him on the 4 as natural as the angle he's left himself with on the 3 to the 4.
Efren has already had to send one of his countrymen to the B side in Rodolfo Luat. Second round in this event. And now he's looking to do the very same thing to Bustamante.
But I think he's going to find Bustamante a more formidable opponent than Rodolfo Luat, because Bustamante is just a warrior. I mean, he has that strong desire.
So many weapons.
Oh, and so many weapons, right. And what a great shot measure. And a beautiful player to watch when he's at the table.
Well, Efren Reyes opens the count here in Chesapeake, takes the opening rack, 1-0 over Francisco Bustamante. It's a race to 11. And Reyes has kicked things off in ideal fashion.
Let's talk a little bit about the strength, the power of Bustamante's break. And I really do believe that he sits alone in that area of the game. I believe he breaks the balls harder than any player in the world.
I remember in one instance watching Bustamante play another top Asian player, Chin Shun Yang, again at the World Championships. I watched him run 7 consecutive racks. And then I also remember a time when Bustamante played Reyes in a European event, and Efren knocked in 9 against him. So if Reyes starts to get the feel for the table, the conditions, the breaking speed, what works, and what area of the table to leave the cue ball, watch out. This can be a landslide.
I like what Reyes is doing. He's going back to the same side of the table that he opened up the match with, breaking the balls, pocketing a ball on the break. And he's done it again.
And once again, he's not left himself ideally positioned on that 2, and look at the proximity of the 9 to that bottom right corner pocket. And if he can see this 2, The 2-9 combination looming large.
Yeah, and I have to make him a favor to pocket this 2-9 combination. The 9 sitting relatively close to that corner pocket, but yet not inside the pocket, so therefore very, very missable. Matter of fact, it's a fairly difficult shot. He played the 2. Well, I guess pocketing one single ball for Reyes is just like pocketing the 9, because if it gets a line on the next ball, as nicely as the balls are lying on the table, I'd be surprised to see him not get out yet.
You'll see this man's name on well over half of the players in attendance in this year's U.S. Open 9-ball championships when they're asked to fill out their favorite player on their profile sheets. Many of them pattern their game after the great Reyes. Just coming up on his 50th birthday. Boy, won't it be fun to see him on the Seniors Tour. That'll be the end of that.
Oh, my. Yeah, he was for sure dominate the Seniors Tour.
He'll stick around and dominate this one for a while yet. Another player along with Strickland, you can bet they check out where his name appears in the draw. Just making it look like a walk in the park, and that's something that's also very characteristic with Efren Reyes. He is so casual. His demeanor, his approach to the game, there is no pressure whatsoever.
Well, from my experience in watching pool, clearly Reyes is the best player I've ever watched play the game.
Well, large statements, Billy. 2-0 Reyes now in front of Bustamante. And in total control, certainly in the early going. But what a chance he had at the break here. We do have a sponsorship bonus of $500 if you can make that 9 off the break. And let's track that 9 ball from Efren Reyes' break and see where it finishes. Just watch it. Inching its way closer to that corner pocket, and that wasn't a long ways out from a $500 bonus.
Near miss, but no cigar. Anyways, that $500 bonus is certainly an incentive to break the balls with a little more power, isn't it, Jim?
And they're both well aware of it, Bill. They were practicing the break shot, both he and Francisco, before this match kicked off, and kind of laughing amongst themselves. A little extra power imparted. Well, Efren lost the cue ball a little bit there, and I think it's taken him out of position to the 2.
Yeah, I don't believe he can see the 2, which is positioned at the other end of the table. All the balls are grouped down this end of the table, the foot end of the table, with the 1 sole ball at the other end of the table with the 2 ball. And I don't believe he can see it, so he's going to have to push. And I don't believe, no matter where he pushes here, I believe Francisco will accept the shot. Because too many options. It's going to be very difficult for him to push without Bustamante accepting the shot.
I'd wager, Bill, that if you asked Efren who he considered his toughest opponent, Bustamante's name would be very high on that list, if not 1.
Right. Well, the reason Bustamante will accept this shot is we'll try to cut the 2 in here, reposition the cue ball somewhere in this area down here. In the event that he misses the 2, he's got this wall of balls here for potential blockers. So therefore, he'll shoot this shot. He'll have 2 things going for him here. He'll have the chance of pocketing the 2 and also the chance of hooking Reyes if he misses it.
Now the possibility of the 3-8.
Yeah, it doesn't look like he has enough room to pocket the 3 past the 8, so he's either going to have to play a safety or a 3-8 combination, which really doesn't really lay that well. So he has a decision to make right now, and it's not an easy combination.
Well, and the bigger problem, Billy, is that it takes the cue ball away. The natural angle in making the 3-8 takes the cue ball away from where the 3 would go. So it's going to be difficult to negotiate, even if he gets the 8, position to the 3.
Yeah, he's got compounding problems here. And if you notice what Jim was saying, the cue ball then went away from the 3 ball, but he overcut the combination. So therefore, he was confronted with a very difficult situation, and I don't even know if he chose the right shot, but I'm certainly not going to argue with his choice. I really wouldn't win very many of those arguments. Reyes back at the table already leading 2-0, and this combination plays a little more simple for the one Bustamante had.
More importantly, Bill, he knew he was going to keep that 3 near the pocket. Good positional shot from the 3 to the 5, and this one's going to be on a silver platter for the Magician.
But a little soft. He really didn't get to the position on the table that he wanted to end up in. He wanted to end up in a straight angle on the 5, where all he needed to do then was pocket the 5 and stop with the 6. Now he's got a little bit of a tester here on the 5. He's got to go cross table for position for the 6, which didn't present that big of a problem for a player of the caliber of Reyes, or for Reyes, I should say.
We'll keep an eye on that cue ball too. If you notice spots on it, it's exactly what they're there for, to give us all an indication, and more importantly you at home, of what these top pros impart on that cue ball in terms of spin to get it into the area of the table that they want. You'll see it spinning very clearly with those red dots. And right now, Reyes has Bustamante's head spinning at 3-0, and he'll be breaking in rack number 4 to look to increase that lead, but this is a dream start for Efren.
Just spray it on and wipe it off. That's all it takes. For more information, call us toll-free. Visit chalkoff.com or call your local retailer and ask for it by name. That's Chalk Off, the complete pool table cleaner.
Well, let's keep an eye on both the wing ball and into the side pocket. That seems to be what Reyes has been attacking here off the break.
Pocketing the 1 in the corner, the 5 ball has finally come to rest in between the cue ball and the 2 ball. But had it not stopped there, he still wouldn't have had a shot on the 2 because it doesn't go in the upper right-hand corner. The 9 blocks that particular shot. Now he's going to have to push again.
You know what he lists as one of his favorite hobbies? Chess. So you really don't want to get into a pool game where he can turn it into a chess game on you, Billy. It'll probably put you in the runners-up position when the trophies are awarded.
Excellent tip there. Notice the position of the 9 in relation to the 2. Now there's a possible billiard into the side, the 2 off the 9 into the side. It looks like it's available. I don't know whether or not he's going to shoot it or not, but I think he may shoot it because he may be fearful if he doesn't shoot it, Reyes might shoot it. See, he tried to make the 2 off the 9. It didn't work out for him, but you know, he did shoot it and gave himself a chance to win this game. But he didn't suffer much of a consequence in giving up a shot after missing that. You have to notice the 6 ball blocks the pockets of the 2, and Reyes is required to do from the 2 without a shot. So it looks like it worked out pretty good for Bustamante.
Just the outside edge of this too. Reyes was looking to play safe because he got that cue ball behind the 9.
Yeah, that's exactly what he's done. I do, but I want to do. Well, from this vantage point, now I look at the monitor, he can see the 2, but he really tried to reposition the ball, the cue ball that is behind the 9. Therefore, from that standpoint, he made a little good effort. Bustamante at the table, he's trailing 3-0, and he's really needs to come up with something here. If you notice the angle that he's left with, if he pockets the 2, the 2 ball will then go in the direction of the 6. It'll probably run into the 6. And the 9 blocks the pocket for the 3, so he has a lot of work in front of him. You know, I don't like his chances of doing well in this particular inning.
Not to mention the 2 is a very tough ball to start
right
on.
So he may even play safe with his shot. I don't even think he tried to pocket that ball. I think he tried to get the cue ball behind the 6. And in doing that, I thought he used pretty good judgment. Really not much of a future for him to go offensive on that particular type of a situation. There's nothing good that could have happened for him. Reyes kicking behind the two, looking to reposition the two in the area on the table. Will give Bustamante problems. He left him quite a bit of distance. That's always a good ally to have.
Well, we haven't had a chance yet to see Francisco's break. He's got one of the hardest breaks in the game. And if he does have an advantage over Reyes, that's certainly one department you'd have to give him a little check mark. He doesn't want to turn this into a tactical battle. Reyes's chest brain would certainly come to the fore in that regard. What a shot there from Francisco Bustamante. Wow.
And that was an excellent shot. He freed up the 3 from the 9, enabling him now to pocket the 3 past the 9 into the lower right-hand corner. Sort of like opened up the gates on that particular shot, giving him really a legitimate opportunity to finally win a game. The balls were put quite nicely over the table. I don't really see any problems out there, Jim. I look for him to run out here and narrow the gap to 3-1.
I think Francisco knows that he's got to get back into this. It's got to be 1 ball, 1 rack at a time. But if he's to have any chance to beat Reyes, he's got to take full advantage of the opportunities that come his way.
I like what he did there. He made sure he got close to the 6th ball. Any type of an angle being that close to the 6th ball would suffice. But now he looks like he's going to have to use the bridge or else stretch across table and look like sideways at the shot, which is something I don't like to do. And that's exactly what happened. He stretched across the table, looked sideways at the shot, and really didn't get the action on the cue ball he anticipated. And now he found himself frozen up or near closely positioned to the 7 without an offensive shot.
Trifle unlucky.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
I mean, really, I could have gone anywhere a little firmer. It would have bumped out and left the 7 to the corner pocket. As it is, all he can do is run for cover.
He may try to reposition the cue ball behind the 9, 2 cushions here, or just play distance and go 2 cushions to the bottom cushion. That's pretty good there. From the angle of these left Reyes, it doesn't appear to me that he can bank the 7. A safety is like very difficult. It looks like the Reyes is really faced with a dilemma here, Jim. He really can't do much of anything. So if he gets out of this, he surely will be a magician.
But this is what the players watch Reyes for. Type of shot, they wouldn't have a clue what to do, and they're going to watch and see if they can figure it out.
I think the only thing he has is to bank the 7 back to this area here. Or he tried to cut it in.
And it's almost guaranteed to cost him rack number 4. Left an easy one for Bustamante.
Bustamante made an excellent shot when he played safe on the 7. Really, really leaving Reyes just about nothing.
And the simple 9 for Francisco to open accounts in this match. Down it goes, 3-1 the score. And he'll be breaking off in rack number 5. We're going to get a good chance to see one of the better breaks in the game. And Billy, he's got an action. If you were going to teach anybody to play the game, Francisco's action when he cues at the ball, it's not what you would want to try and emulate, is it?
Well, it looks like to me that when you're watching him play, you would have to think that he has to play every day to stay finely tuned so he can keep that stroke accurate. And so he can be accurate when he was at the table, because he's so loose in the back and there's so much movement back there. You would think if he doesn't play every day, he can't possibly be efficient.
It's all about how he delivers the cue through the white ball, like a dart on its intended path. Winding it up. One into the side. And he's going to have a shot at the 2, or is he? No.
No, he's not. Cue ball crawling around the 8 separating that shot from the 2. It's blocking it, I should say. And look, he pocketed how many balls on the break, Jim? Can you count them out there? There's only 6 balls left on the table. His speed was 25 miles per hour. The fastest speed so far here on the feature table. The most powerful break so far.
Keep delicious in the mighty Euro, table number 3.
Well, he knows all about that $500 bonus money. So he's not going to be holding anything back on the break.
Actually, he asked me before the match began. He said, if you break from over here, the 9 goes toward the pocket? That's exactly what he asked me.
Well, he's pushed out.
He wants to get that $500 bonus in his pocket. I think there's something to that.
At least once. But Efren now with the option to accept or turn it back to his buddy.
I thought it was a pretty good push for these reasons here, okay? If he's able to pocket the 2, he may run into the 5. And since the 9 is blocking the pocket for the 3, after running into the 5, may send him askew somewhere over here. He may not have no shot. So I don't think the shooter has an advantage in this instance, Sir Jim. He was able to miss the 5 with the cue ball and end up in perfect line for the combination, something you couldn't even draw. And make a difficult shot on the 2.
Well, this has turned right around. It's backfired completely on Bustamante.
But still, in spite of that, I still think he made a good push. And he just happens to be playing a magician.
9 down, and it cost him the rack. 4-1, Reyes in front now. He'll be breaking in rack 6. But that one certainly wasn't what Francisco would have wanted. I don't think he thought Reyes would go for the 2, Billy.
Well, I don't know what he thought, but I know that he made a good push, because there were a lot of things that could have went wrong with if you accept that shot. Reyes hit it so perfectly, and that's exactly how he had to hit it to do what he did. And you really can't expect anyone to do what Reyes did. So therefore, you can't find fault in Bustamante's decision to push where he did. I really liked where he pushed. As a matter of fact, I thought the Reyes would pass the shot back. But of course, only Reyes knows what Reyes knows.
And Reyes is going to make sure only he knows.
Pocketing a ball on the break. 2 balls on the break.
Yeah, landing pretty good on the 2.
I believe
the 3, sorry. 2 went down.
3, yeah, the 1 and 2 are pocketed on the break, and he's landed in perfect line on the 3 for the side pocket. All balls once again very nicely positioned over the table. And since Reyes is the player at the table, shouldn't be a problem. Now he's going to have to draw this back to the bottom cushion, playing position for the 6 on the side. But he's going to have to put a good stroke on it and make sure it gets back to the bottom cushion, because he's going to want an angle to go up table for the 7. Once again, you couldn't have positioned it better with your hand.
Well, looking very strong.
You know he wanted to win this match badly when he would try to get in that extra practice before the match began.
Yes, we had to get Efren off the table for our intros, and he wanted to get out there and just cue at the balls, and almost unwilling to leave the table, just as he is here, Bill. No different with Bustamante. He just doesn't want to give it up. And this 9, when it goes down, that's a 5-1 lead for the magician. Very comfortable, and now it's going to be down to Bustamante. Wait for his chance and try and fire back at the great one. The only time will tell whether that chance will materialize.
That's exactly right. Reyes is playing perfect out there, and there's no guarantee that Bustamante will get back to the table. Even though Reyes still needs 6 more games to win the match, there really isn't a guarantee that Bustamante will get back to the table, because we've seen Reyes run 6 and 7 racks many times. And he seems to have pretty good control of the break, pocketing balls on the break with regularity. So Reyes shooting a 927, very high TPA Bustamante of a pretty low 706, especially when you consider the caliber of player that he is.
Well, Efren winding it up now. We'll keep an eye on that 9. Using the cut break, Bill. He's trying to get that cue ball to the side cushion. As he left Bustamante a chance at a 1-4 combination.
It looks like, yeah, well, it looks like a 1-3 combination.
1-3?
Yeah. Now the problem that he has, not only pocketing the combination, but later on in the subsequent shot, is the 2 and the 6 right here are tied up, so he's going to have to deal with that. So things aren't really coming easy for Bustamante right now. Sometimes you play matches that nothing seems to work well for you. You know, just everything's a puzzle.
He's got a perfect angle here, though, to try and develop that 2 ball.
But he's got to be careful here, Jim. If he cuts the 1 in, hits this cushion here, and then contacts the 2, he may end up scratching. So he's got to be careful here how he breaks the balls. He went into the 6 and ended up perfect for the 2. And he'll softly roll the 2 in, maybe just nudging the green 6 ball, staying in line for position for the pink 4. Or maybe he doesn't have the angle to do that, so it looks like he may even be backing the 2. No, not this time. I thought he had an opportunity to cut the 2 in, or an angle at least to cut the 2 in.
He's normally so fluent in knocking in those bank shots, and that one barely threatened the corner pocket. Francisco just a little out of sorts so far in this match. We haven't seen the best of him.
Reyes very quickly jumping on an automatic or simple safety snooker behind the 6, saying, I got you 5-1. I'm not going to give anything away. As you said before, Jim, he's an excellent chess player. And that's kind of one of his really good moves. I didn't care for the speed that he took that shot with, Jim. I didn't think anything good could happen. Because hitting with that speed, what did he think would happen after contacting the 2, you know? I would hit it with a little more speed to separate those 2 balls and possibly move the 2 down this end of the table. Reyes finally missing a ball. Bustamante steps to the table with a legitimate opportunity to push another bead on his side. He trails in this match 5-1, but with an excellent opportunity to narrow the gap.
Backhanded shot for Francisco. We see that an awful lot from him. He's very comfortable playing behind his back.
Yeah, he's one of the few Filipino players that really you couldn't consider him very ambidextrous, because he doesn't shoot very many shots with his left hand. He'd rather play behind his back, and that's unusual too, by the way. But he's very efficient doing that. He's got to be careful here, because it looks like the 6 ball is behind both the 9 and the 8. So those are 2 possible interfering balls, and he ran to the 7. Now he's left himself a long shot on the 6 with a rather straight angle. He's going to have to hit this fairly accurate and draw it straight back in between the 9 and the 8. A lot of concentration here. He's going to have to keep focused on this particular shot. It doesn't play simple.
He's overcooked it. Look out.
Yeah, he was a little bit too careful playing position on the 6, I think, and ended up quite a distance from the 6, which created the problem for the position for the 7.
He just cued that one too sweetly.
So up to this point of the match, we're seeing a subpar performance from Bustamante.
What a recovery shot there. We can knock those in.
But
no dangers.
No, there isn't. When you have skills, the offensive skills of a Bustamante, you can afford to occasionally get out of line and recover.
And this 9 to pull one back. Well, you can hear some applause. I can tell you that is Earl Strickland, has just been knocked out of this year's U.S. Open. Danny Basovich, an 11-10 winner over Strickland. So there'll be no U.S. Open title for the Pearl this year. That's such is the way, the parity of the game, Billy. There's so many great young players coming up now that a lot of these top players that we've known over the years have got to keep their A game up. Don't they? Got to bring their best game to Chesapeake to have any chance to hoist the hardware after this one's done.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, to win a tournament, especially at the caliber of a tournament as the U.S. Open, it's a very taxing tournament, very wearing, because every match you play, you seem to be playing against a very competent player, you know, a real good class player.
Bustamante looks like he's been kicked in with a white. He has another crushing break, but this one is going to be turned right over to Efren Reyes.
Let's take a look where the 4 is. This is what I think we're going to see Reyes do here. Notice the position of the 5. It's behind the 9 over here. The 3 is positioned here, and the 4 is relatively close to the side pocket. I believe he's going to pocket the 1, play position on this kind of an angle right here for the 3. Pocket the 3, go 1 cushion into the 5-9 off the 3. Since the 4 is positioned near the side pocket, he can afford to do that. Now that's the angle that he's left himself with. He's either going to go 1 cushion into the 5-9 or draw the cue ball into the 5-9. Only because the 4 is positioned conveniently close to the side pocket. Now the 4 is in front of the side, so now he's got a chance to get out.
Well thought out. The only problem for Reyes now is he's got to miss that 7 in pocketing the 4. And it's a thin clip into the side pocket.
And I think he's got a bit of a problem here because the angle that he's offered with the 4. The angle looks like it's going to go something like this toward the 9. That's the angle that I see, okay? Maybe he can make it an adjustment or create another angle with a different type of a stroke. Let's see what he does with it. So it looks like it's going toward the 9, which it did. He brushed the 9, then he went into the 3, and he came out with a shot.
You know something, Bill? I'm not sure this ball passes. And there you can see it doesn't. So it's a little bit unlucky for Reyes.
It doesn't pass, you're right.
Just being a fraction out of ideal position.
Yeah, it doesn't pass. And there's no easy safety here either, is there? Well, let's see what he has in mind, because I'm always curious to see what he has in mind in difficult situations when there really isn't a good out. He seems to walk away from the table. Look how difficult he hit that ball. Very little movement. That was so difficult to execute the way he did it.
Yeah, it's one thing when you've got the shot-making capability of Reyes, the tactical brain, when you've got the touch of a surgeon. How tough
what
is
a combination that is. That was an excellent shot in terms of both accuracy and speed of the cue ball. Notice how nicely he repositioned the cue ball for the 6. Now he has an option. He can go forward or he can draw it back. I like going forward, but he has to make sure that he cuts the 6 enough or else he'll end up hitting the point of that corner pocket. You see how he hit that point? So he had to cut it a little more and use a little more of a check stroke to get it away from that point.
He's a little short of ideal pace, too. He's not landed on the 7 ideally. And this is a choice. And at 5-2 behind, he's got to start making the right one.
Yes, he does. And going for the shot may not necessarily be the right choice. Like he did before, you know, he could cut the 7 down here, reposition the cue ball up here. That could be the right shot, because if he goes for the bank and tries to play safe off the bank, if he misses it, he may be using bad judgment. Now he's going cross-side. Now this is very difficult for me to shoot if I were he. But I'm not he, and so therefore that's why he pocketed it as easily as he did.
I said earlier, Billy, he's a heck of a bank shot player, Bustamante. That one that he missed by a long ways surprised me because he doesn't miss many.
In the meantime, up at this point of the match, it seemed to have been all Reyes, but if he pockets the 9, he'll only be 2 games behind, trailing 5 games to 3, indefinitely in the match.
And he's done that. 5-3 confirmed. And Bustamante will be breaking in rack number 9. And you can never count this man out when he's got that weapon in his corner of the ring.
But hasn't it seemed like to you that it's been all Reyes?
Well, the 5-3 scoreline flatters Bustamante.
Absolutely, it certainly does. And he certainly has an excellent chance of coming back in this match because of the score. Now, the TPA says it's all Reyes, but the score says, hey, I got a chance, you know, and that's what you have to look at.
And as Francisco comes to the table, his sights firmly set on that one ball. And just watch how far he draws that cue back. Comes virtually out of his bridge.
And if you
on
notice,
his last stroke.
If you notice, he switched sides of the table, breaking the balls from.
And look at the 9 tracking toward the corner.
Making 2 balls on the break, 1 finally coming to rest in a pretty good position. But the problem here is not pocketing the 1, it's controlling the cue ball. Notice the position of the 3. The 3 is a very big ball here, okay? He's going to have to deal around that 3 in some fashion to get positioned for the blue 2. .9 miles per hour. You know how hard he struck the ball break there? 27. I mean, I don't know anyone that breaks the balls 27 miles per hour.
Well, you do now.
Yeah, well, I knew that before he broke them. I don't know anyone else that does it.
When they were registering the speeds, all the fastest breakers, didn't you have one of the hardest breaks around 31 miles an hour? Wasn't that one of the top speeds?
I don't believe so. I mean, 31. It's been confirmed by Rob that
I remember hearing that a while ago, but I knew that he hit him hard.
31. 35. Do I hear 40? Give me 40. 40 over here. 35 miles per hour.
He's an auctioneer.
I'll tell you what.
Well, I know one thing. If you can bottle this break, you can sell it just about in any pool room in the world.
We wouldn't have to be worried about doing anything but selling that break. We'd be wealthy. In the meantime, Bustamante was very silently clawing his way back into this match because Reyes is the player who seems to have made all the noise, but Bustamante is only 1 game behind. After pocketing the 9, it'll be 5-4.
Log on today to billiardclub.net or call toll-free 866-774-8770. billiardclub.net.
We're going to try and have a good look at Francisco Bustamante's very unorthodox breaking style right now, and where he pulls that cue virtually out of his bridge hand. Very few players can do that with accuracy, certainly like him. This is not something you want to work on at home, Billy.
And it's really a mystery to me. You know, he's not really a big man in stature, you know, and he's not extremely strong. But how does he generate the power that he does in his break?
So watch it. Just about pulls it right out of his bridge hand. Still, the success rate is there.
After we were bragging on his break, he came up dry. You do it every time, Jim. Every time you do it to him.
That's commentator's curse, Bill. No problem whatsoever. Just let me know when you want me to stick it in there.
Reyes standing at the table, finding himself only now with a 1-game lead in the match, 5 games to 4, and without a shot. So he's going to have to figure out a way to play some sort of a safety here. I think what he has in mind, since the angle that he has, well, he looks like he's going to play the 1 over here and the cue ball somewhere down here. Yeah, he's going to, whoop, he's got away from him. All of a sudden, Bustamante looks like he's well and alive in this match.
A few chinks in the Reyes armor starting to appear. And Efren hasn't played a lot of positive shots his last few visits to the table. He certainly let Reyes off there, but look at the problem he created near the cue ball with the 4 ball, the pink 4 ball.
Yeah, the 4 and the 5 are
very awkward.
Yeah, congested on this end of the table, so therefore. Look, he played that shot. He actually played the draw shot into that cluster to make that combination. Unfortunately, he froze against the 5, and now he's hooked behind the 5 because the 1 found its way back up the other end of the table.
And he's left Reyes a chance.
And left him a good chance. Not only did he leave him a shot on the 1, but he left him a shot on the 1 with the right angle to drop nicely for the 2. So therefore, this is really ideal for Reyes. Shooting the 1 that carries a natural angle for the 2. I don't believe he can pocket the 2 in the side. He stepped himself a little thinner than he wanted to leave himself on the 2. But in spite of that, I think he's still going to do well with the shot. He's such an accurate shot maker. And hitting it with the perfect speed.
Left himself a nice angle, too. Get the cue ball back towards the middle. It's one thing in 9-ball. You never really want to be straight in. Not until it's the 9.
Now he's going to have to be careful with this shot because the angle that he's left himself here isn't one that plays natural. So therefore, he's got to be careful and make sure he stays down on this shot. It's a very tricky shot. Well, he just softly rolled it in, playing position for the 6 on the side. Sometimes all you got to do is like move a pawn. That's exactly what he did there. He just rolled it in, played position for the 6 on the side.
Well, Efren has seen his 5-1 lead evaporate, and he wants to try and at least keep that 2-rack cushion. And he looks like doing just that. And this 9 will afford him the break off in rack number 11, 6-4. Reyes takes rack 10. And once again, 2 clear. And while we've got a moment, I'd like to thank a couple of our sponsors, Jilco Entertainment, makers of the new PlayStation and Xbox video pool game, World Championship Pool, along with Siegel's Unlimited Cues and Accessories. Great turnout here this evening for the matches. There's no surprise that there aren't many empty seats watching Reyes and Bustamante play.
Yeah, you really can't afford to pass up an opportunity to watch 2 players like Reyes and Bustamante because there are only 2 players like Reyes and Bustamante.
One for the ages, unfolding here in Chesapeake. Rack number 11. Reyes quickly with a couple off the break. That wing ball in. He's got half a chance at the 1, Bill. Not easy.
Not easy, but very tempting because the 2 ball is positioned at the same end of the table as the 1. So therefore, no doubt about it, he's going to go for the pocketing of the 1, which carries pretty easy position for the 2 since it's positioned down the same end of the table. He'll give it a real good effort here. Missing the 1, but not leaving Bustamante an easy shot. He's left him across corner bank, cue ball position closer to that side rail, making this bank play a little bit more difficult. And if you remember, the last time Bustamante banked the ball, he missed it by a considerable distance. Therefore, the rails are banking fairly short, and that's the way he missed this last bank. So he should take that into consideration before pulling the trigger here. And still, if he's able to put the 1 down from the angle that he's been left in, can he control the cue ball for the 2? Well, he played a safety and finds himself scratching cross-side.
Well, that was a horrible shot. You could see him right away. He knew he caught that 1 too thin.
Oh, absolutely. He hit it right on the head. Too thin it was. He needed to hit the 1 much thicker than what he did to get the results that he needed.
And this is going to be costly.
Anytime you give Reyes ball in hand, anytime, it's going to be costly.
1 problem ball, and difficult to tell whether it goes, is the 7. The force The brown 7 near the 9. Looks like it passes, Bill, and if it does, then everything is pretty much smooth sailing for Reyes.
Right. Even though they look like they're kind of clustered near the foot spot, the 5 leads to the 6 on the side, the 6 on the side leads to the 7 in the corner, providing it does pass the 9. So therefore, really not much work out there, even though it may appear that there is. Well, there's a little indecision out there, indication that, hey, maybe there's more work than I thought.
Efren still making his home back in the Philippines in Manila, and Francisco Bustamante has been residing in Germany for a number of years now and pretty much terrorizing everybody in Europe on the European tour. They'd like to send him a one-way ticket back to the Philippines.
Yeah, that's the first time I actually had an opportunity to watch Bustamante play with in Munich, Germany. I believe it was around 1991. When they had the Munich Masters, which I mentioned before, by the way. And the 7 will pass because he certainly played position for it. And it's very, wait a second, maybe it doesn't pass. He played position for the billiard.
And the billiard successfully completed. 7-4. Efren Reyes is starting to move closer to the finish line. The race to 11. The winner staying on the A side of the brackets.
Very costly mistake Bustamante made by scratching on that relatively simple safety that he had on the 1 ball.
Well, you just can't live at this level offering cue ball in hand to your opponent. Heather Evans, basically our ring girl, just letting everyone know that rack 12 is on its way. And she receives a round of applause every time she circles the table.
Yes, she does, and everyone in attendance really does know what number rack it is. I do believe.
So here we go. Buckle up.
I'm a rack tracker. I'm a rack tracker. You ever track the account of the rack?
Efren would like to have that one over again. Straight into the side pocket, and I don't believe that was kicked in either, Bill. So cue ball in hand, he's returned the favor right away back to Francisco Bustamante.
1, 2. Well, the 2 to the 3 should answer, should tell the story on this rack, because the 2 is at one end of the table, the 3 at the other. All other balls seem to be spread nicely over the table. So therefore, it doesn't seem like there's any problems out there. And if there is a slight problem, it may be from the 2 to the 3.
Well, the nice part about it is removing the 1, he's going to free the pocket up for the 3. So that's certainly going to help. And again, with cue ball in hand, he can virtually position that white anywhere he wants after pocketing the 1 with which to go from the 2 to the 3. Let's see how he decides to do it.
Well, I don't really see a clear route from the 2 to the 3 unless he wants to go underneath the 4, going 2 cushions. After hitting the 2nd cushion, he's going to be coming in this direction, and all of a sudden the 6 ball becomes a big ball. Or unless he goes straight up.
He's got to miss that 4.
Now watch how big the 6 ball becomes here. If he brushes it, he may end up in trouble, but he was able to stay clear of the 6, ending up in reasonable line on the 3. But now the problem, as you can see, Jim, very clearly, he's straight in on the 3 with the 4 ball being at the other end of the table. He didn't want to get straight on the 3. It's something that he didn't want to end up in straight on the 3.
Well, now he's going to have to either show a little imagination or some cue power to get that white the opposite end of the table for the 4.
So the position red spots on the cue ball will really be spinning here. They'll have to go underneath with a lot of extreme low left English.
They'll be rotating. Watch this.
Notice the spin. Look at it. Now that's a stroke. That is really what you call a stroke there. That cue ball was spinning so quickly to the left. After contacting the cue ball and hit that cushion, it just shot down the table. You have to have a lot of power in your stroke to get that type of reaction.
And there aren't many in the game that have more cue power than the man you're seeing now.
And this isn't easy either. He's got to be very careful here. He was able to clear the 6. And once again, this doesn't play natural either. He's going to have to go around the 8. And he can't afford to bump the 8 here. Bustamante's racks have been more complicated than Reyes'.
Well, he's had to do more with the cue ball, hasn't he? He's had to work the cue ball a lot more than Reyes. Reyes is more of a controlled player.
But with Reyes, even though Reyes is more of a controlled player, that doesn't necessarily mean Reyes should get more simple runouts. It just seems like Bustamante's been confronted with more complex situations.
More difficult finishes.
Yeah, you know. But this one he brought on himself. He's totally out of line here. He's going to have to accept a long shot on the 9. Look at him walking around the table, looking up in the air, knowing he made a big mistake.
All he can do now is try and feather that cue ball over the left-hand side of the table for the long 9.
He's on the unprofessional side of the 8, something that's so uncharacteristic of the way he plays. Now he's going to have to softly draw it in. Now he's going 2 cushions using a super stroke to get himself closer to the 9.
Yeah, what a great shot that was.
He's a resilient player. He's got such great shot-making skills. He can afford to get out of line and recover as easily as he seems to have done this.
Francisco gets to 5, 7-5 the score in favor of Reyes. There's not a lot of players that can hit the ball as hard as Bustamante. The natural tendency when you do offer a power stroke at the cue ball is to lift your head, to take your eye off the ball. It's a lot like trying to overhit it in golf.
Exactly. 7-5. That's not too bad for Bustamante. He's well within reach.
Well, especially when he's breaking.
Of getting back into this match. Only 2 games behind at this juncture. So yeah, especially with him breaking. Exactly.
Rack 13.
Going back to the side of the table where he's had success. And smart move. Power break, corner ball. Oh, once again scratching inside, this time with a kiss. Very, very unfortunate that he found himself scratching in the side pocket because he got kissed in there and he needed it desperately because, you know, he's trailing by 2 games. He needed to make a kind of strong surge there, but I guess it wasn't meant to be at this time.
Well, much lower break speed, 19, just under 20, 19.9. I wonder if Francisco is just trying to err on the side of caution and control that white ball, Billy, because that really was unlucky, watching that cue ball get kicked into the side pocket like that.
And if you notice how nicely the balls are positioned on the table for Reyes, and that was the point I was trying to make before, it just seems like Bustamante's layouts have been more difficult than Reyes's. But
it's because he makes more balls on the break. There's less obstacles.
But that time it was in Reyes' advantage because he scratched. But Reyes has a very simple layout. He already leads in the match 7-5. He's looking to extend it even further to 8-5, and really don't foresee any problems here.
No, he could kick these in. He could turn the back end of the cue around and play with the rubber bumper.
The ill-fated Bustamante relegated to the chair. Only thing he can do now is watch.
Well, that one wasn't a clean entry into the pocket. I said he was zeroing in on 50 years old as Reyes, and Bustamante, I think, is somewhere around 35, 36 now. Efren eyeing, sorry, Billy.
No, go right ahead.
Efren eyeing up this 9 now to go 8-5 in front. And there you go, right into your living room. 8-5, Efren Reyes over Francisco Bustamante. He wants 3 more to stay on the winner's side here in Chesapeake.
Bustamante not looking really happy about what's happened here, you know. And, last time we took a look at him in the chair.
Well, he's had a couple unforced errors, and they've proved to be very, very costly.
Yeah, and he really was kind of unlucky.
Well, he's very unlucky there, that cue ball getting kicked in. Let's take a moment to thank a couple more of our sponsors.
Chalk Off, Pool Table Cleaner, and the Billiard Club Pro Shop.
Now there's a different break. Again, the cut break. He's trying to get that 9 moving. And no friends at the table for the magician at this moment in time. So it's down to Bustamante. But again, Billy, look at the table.
Once again, okay, look at his layout. The 2, the congestion around here, you see? His layouts just seem to be more difficult. Now maybe that's one of the reasons why he trails by 3 games to 5. Okay, forcing to go into the 2 and 3 and 9.
If that 2 goes into the side pocket, that's a great shot. You can draw this back for the 3. The way he's queuing and chalking up, it looks like it does. Geez, what an opening shot he played there.
If the 4 passes where the 9 is, then he's got a good angle. Looks like that it does. Now he's got to get an angle to play position for the 5 in one of the side pockets, because it doesn't go in either corner. But it does go into the upper corners, but I wouldn't play it in the upper corner. I could just play it in the right-hand side. He's right there while I play position for another pocket. Now the balls seem to be laying really nicely over the table. Seems like this game should be his.
Yeah, that one shot he made, the opener on the 1 ball, just completely put everything on a silver platter for him.
And he earned it because he hit the shot well enough to separate the 2 from the cluster, coming up with a shot on the 2. And then it was all routine after that. But still, he made a good shot on the 1 to open up the doors. This shot has to be hit with good speed control, which he's hit it with good speed. Ending up with just about an ideal area on the table.
Well, if he can finish with a flurry, winning this rack will pull him back to 8-6.
And when we're talking about a player like Bustamante, an 8-6 deficit is a really large deficit because of the power of his break. He's such an explosive player. The next time Reyes comes back to the table, he could be trailing.
And there hasn't been a lot of flow in this match because nobody's strung any racks together. And both of them are so capable. And 8-6 now confirmed. Let's see if Bustamante can start putting a few together and apply a little pressure to the great Efren Reyes.
Bustamante is a pressure applier. If there's a player out there that could be called a pressure applier, it's certainly Bustamante because of his ability with the power in his break to string racks. And we haven't seen that yet, but that doesn't mean we won't.
Well, at 8-6, there'd be no better time than right now. String about 5 racks together and be home and dry.
And that's about,
I think he'd settle for that.
That's probably the way he's thinking too, you know. Here we go. Bustamante shooting at 831, Reyes at 892. At one time, Bustamante was shooting at 702. Certainly has picked up that average quite a bit. And he would like to pick it up a little bit more. He broke him hard that time, pocketing the 7 on the break, getting a kiss down table off. Look, at the doors opened up for the 1. Maybe that's a sign.
Things may be turning around.
That's right. Balls seem to be laying pretty good on the table. He only trails by 2 games.
Long, difficult 1, and if he can get position to the 2.
I think from the distance he is from the 1 and the type of strokes that he has to put on the shot, the 2 is in a good position for him because he's got to use a good stroke to get the cue ball around. And shooting a shot that carries this much distance, he's going to need a good stroke, and I think it's going to help him pocket the 1. Oh, he stroked it, overstroked it going into the 8. I didn't think he was going to do that. But that's exactly what he did. Now, a safety really isn't that easy here either, Jim.
It looks like just putting distance between cue ball and object ball.
Now, notice if he contacts the right side of the 2, the cue ball figures to go in this direction here. The pink 4 is down there to stop it, so therefore that may not be the shot he may shoot. He's looking to bank the 2 cross side.
Wow.
You mentioned before he could bank.
Yeah, he wants to be banking the $30,000 at the end of the tournament. That's what he'd like to bank. What an effort that was from Bustamante.
And it'll take an effort equally as good as the last one to pocket the 3. This shot carries a lot of distance, and the cue ball's positioned fairly close to that bottom cushion.
But how psychologically tough is that when Reyes had to be thinking he was going to be getting out of his chair?
Oh, that's pure to the heart of the pocket there. I mean, what a shot that was. Especially in a pressure situation. He can't afford to fall any further behind than he already is. Yeah, this is really an impressive rack right here.
Francisco has started to show us a little bit of magic. Just 3 balls away from getting back to 8-7. This match always promised to be something a bit special. And when these 2 lock horns, you never know what you're going to get. The only certainty is you don't ever want to miss it.
Well, I'd say that we have a pretty good idea what we're going to get.
8-7. And Bustamante will be breaking off in rack number 16. And if he can get back to 8-8 with the break in hand, I think he assumes the favorites role.
Well, that's a pretty accurate statement. I think that with the power that he has in his break, if he can get back to 8-8 breaking the balls, he will then positively assume the favorites role. Matter of fact, even facing a 1-game deficit this late in the match, with the ability to break the balls, he may be even money at this time to win the match. He has been productive on the break. Only thing that seemed to have stopped him was scratching.
Just trying to keep that cue ball on the table. There's a good look. Just look at that cue come right back out of his bridge hand. Watch this. And with control.
Pocketing 2 balls on the break, I do believe. No, he pocketed 1 ball on the break. The 8 is hanging. Now he has a shot on the 1. It's not an easy shot to the upper left-hand corner, considering how closely the 2 balls positioned in relation to the 1.
Very risky if he attempts this.
This shot will have to be made with a stroke. He'll spin the cue ball with right-hand English, controlling the 1 ball with the spin of the cue ball. Because that's what he's going to need to do, considering the position of the 2 at the others on the other side of the table.
But we can't stress how difficult this is when you're so close to the object ball, seeing the angle that you have to cut it to make it.
So he spun it in, and he came back to the other side of the table. Very nicely struck, and with such finesse.
That was a great shot. Just a smattering of applause, but that was well worth every bit of that and more.
He's rather awkward on the 2, so they have hit this with a little bit of power to get it back to the center of the table for position for the 3. When he's drawing back, playing position for the combination. Very wise decision. Now he's going to have to be careful here. He doesn't make both balls, and if he does make both balls, he has to control the top ball, the 4. So he hit it in the fashion that he knew exactly where the 4 was going. It's 8-7 Reyes right now. Bustamante at the table, and you have to believe that Bustamante, for some reason, has become the favorite in this match.
Did I say that no one had strung any together?
Mm-hmm.
This is going to be Bustamante's 3rd in a row.
And that's what gives him, you know, the ability to beat Reyes. This is his ability to string racks because of the power of his break. That's why he's regarded as the most explosive player in the world today.
And he's fearless, too. He's got the heart of a lion and all the courage that is required to be a champion.
He certainly does have the heart of the line. I remember it was about 7 or 8 years ago he played Johnny Archer, a challenge match. I believe it was in Dayton, Ohio. And they were playing for a considerable amount of money. Race to 13. Archer ran 13 racks on him. Bustamante's response was, "You want to double the bet?"
What about that then? 8-8. Bustamante and Reyes serving up a gem for us here.
Ever wonder how the pros make it look so easy? We practice a lot, and we know the basic concepts of shot making. Now you can too when you use the Spider. The Spider teaches you where the balls need to make contact in order to make the shot. It's easy because it uses laser-guided technology. And when you practice with the Spider, you can learn to see what the pros see. Call toll-free or go online and order yours today.
We're heating up to the business end of this event.
And to finish the story, they did double the bet, and Bustamante won the next bet.
I was going to ask that.
Okay? And that's a true story. I was there. And I don't fib, Jim. This is a pretty good match, right? What do you think?
Well, we've got the best seat in the house, and the numbers are showing just how good it is. Very little to choose, and Bustamante is starting to inch closer to Reyes. Reyes is spending a lot of time in his chair. And at 8-8, Francisco has fought his way back. Now, the baton has been passed. Can he carry it over the finish line?
A lot of pool left in this match, Jim. A lot of pool left. Watch the 9. Watch the 9. 9 in his bag. 9 in his bag.
Yes, he says, bring it on. 500. And Francisco goes in front with an exclamation point. A $500 bonus by pocketing that 9. Bustamante gets $500 from the Billiard Club Network. That's as a sponsorship bonus. And here they come. 5 crisp ones.
That certainly brings a smile to the play of Pagulayan line, doesn't it? Look at the smile on his face.
Delighted. Now, 1 out of the way. He can focus on the 11th rack that he needs to move ahead. He's just 1 or 2 away, 9-8 in front, 2 away from knocking Reyes to the B side.
Reyes was clapping at the Bustamante major.
Well, that brought the house down, that one. We were all waiting for it, and as we said earlier, with Francisco's break, the danger, the threat is always there.
That's just a testament to the power that he has, how he was able to come from behind, you know, to mount the lead and then surge to the front.
And everyone waiting and wondering if he can produce a little magic again. Now 9-8 in front. He's won the last 5 in a row. And Reyes has yet to get out of his chair for any of those.
Making the 1 on the side, and it looks like he should have come up with some kind of a shot on the 2. Well, at least he can hit it because it's in front of the cue ball. Doesn't have a pocket for the 2. I'll tell you a shot that I really like here a lot, and I'll draw it out for you. I like shooting the 2 ball into the 7, drawing the cue ball back in this area here, utilizing all these balls here as potential blockers. Because after 2 contacting the 7, the 2's got to end up on the bottom cushion somewhere. You know, he's allowed Reyes at the table with a shot on the 2. And Reyes can see the 2 and does have the ability to pocket it in the upper left-hand corner. Whether or not he delivers remains to be seen, but does have the ability to do it.
If you can't see enough of it, Billy, he could even just flick that edge of the 2 and Play off the cushion, try and get that cue ball possibly even in behind the pink 4.
Good call, Jim. Very difficult shot to execute considering what he had offered to him. Really not much.
He's given Francisco a chance at a full 2. No shot with which to attack, so it's going to be a good aggressive safety, and in an ideal world try and hook Reyes. And that doesn't look like it's going to accomplish it.
Well, he didn't hook Reyes. He left him the outside of the ball, but he certainly can pocket the 2. Reyes is forced to play safety of some kind here, so he hasn't lost anything in the concept in terms of leaving any type of an offensive shot, but he didn't want to leave him any type of a shot. I think Reyes is going to try to reposition the cue ball behind the 4 here. So the cue ball 1, 2 cushions and over this way behind the 4. Because that's just the way he plays. Wow, he really hit it thinly, didn't he? He didn't try to do that, I know that.
No, 50-year-old
if he tried to do that,
50-year-old eyes don't produce shots like that.
If he tried to do that, he is a magician. Pagulayan and Keith McCready are at the adjacent table, and Keith, for some reason, seems to get he seems to be the popular player in the arena at all times when he's at the table, and everyone here is rooting for him to win, but he wasn't a decisive dog.
Well, this 9 will provide, and Lovely's missed the 9 for an 11-8 win. Would you believe it? And listen to the crowd. Even Bustamante and Reyes are watching this one.
Yeah.
They can't believe it.
Take a look at Bustamante and Reyes. They're both watching McCready, and their match is more important
and
than
Reyes is grinning from ear to ear. Look at him.
I mean,
the antics of the earthquake on one of the outer tables. I'll keep you updated on that score, folks.
Don't write a check with your mouth that you can't cash when you're at the table. And that's what he was guilty of, McCready.
Alex stays in it. Last year's runner-up back to 10-9. And now back to the main table. As I said, we'll keep you abreast of the score over there. But our focus is with Reyes and Bustamante.
It looks like Reyes has got a shot on the 2, Jim. I do believe he can shoot directly into the 2 and pocket it. Yeah, he does have room. And the balls are spread nicely over the table. No congestion out there. Nothing on the cushion. And it looks like the Reyes is going to tie this match back up, barring any unforeseen thing happening.
Building to a crescendo as well. If he can complete the clearance here, he's going to bring the score to 9-9. And this would really be proof positive of the mettle of the man. He spent the last 5 racks in his chair, so you know that back arm has to be a little cold.
Well, let's just say it's not feeling as loose as it was throughout the match.
Nicely back out the middle of the table. The 6, 7, 8, and 9 invitingly placed for Efren.
Seems that this is a foregone conclusion here, but what's happening on that other table? No.
Well, I can tell you Pagulayan is at the table. He looks to have a chance with the balls open, but he'd need to win that rack to get to 10-10.
In the meantime, Reyes is taking care of business, as usual, when given an opportunity. Well, he's got to pocket the 8 and then the 9 to tie up the match. In a match that he's had to lead throughout just about the entire match. Finally finding himself 1 game behind for the first time, and now he's looking to tie it up. And he does.
And the 9 does just that. 9's alive here in Chesapeake.
But in the meantime, on the adjacent table, Pagulayan is faced with a very difficult shot on the 3. And it could be history or curtains for him if he tries to shoot this shot and misses it.
We'll take a quick peek over there while Efren prepares himself for the break-off. And as you said, Billy, very awkward on the 3. He's bridging right over the 8. And I can tell you one thing. He's not the tallest guy in the world to be playing this shot.
And he doesn't like it because he backed away from it. Indication that he's not happy with it.
No, he'll take a while before he plays this shot, guaranteed.
So
he might want to rent a step ladder.
So we really can't afford to stay on this table. Reyes is preparing to break the balls, and he does, pocketing a ball on the break. 1 ball, and the 2 ball will not pass the 5 into the upper left-hand corner. He pocketed 2 balls on the break, but hasn't come up with a shot on the 2, Jim.
So Efren can only defend from this position.
Pagulayan, in the meantime, made that shot on the 3 ball and ended up with a good shot on the 4. Looks like he's going to win that game and tie up the match 10 apiece. But meantime, back to the feature table, Reyes is confronted with a situation that he doesn't have an offensive shot, and he really doesn't have an easy safety.
No, a lot to think about here at this score, 9-9. You really can't afford any more mental lapses or any mistakes.
Now that's a man that's serious right there. That's a serious looking man. We just saw a picture of Bustamante on the screen, and he had a serious look about himself. This is a big match for him. He wants to win this match badly, as Reyes does as well. Okay, that's what I was saying. There really isn't a real good safety here. There wasn't much of a chance of him walking away from the table, hooking Bustamante. Now, I kind of think Bustamante's going to have to go for the hook here, Jim. I think the correct shot here.
Yes, Alex, that 9 brings the score to 10-10. Keith McCready and Alex Pagulayan.
I kind of like going behind the 5 with the cue ball here. That's really, I think, a good shot to shoot at this time because position on the 3 was kind of suspect considering the position of the 2 and the 6. He really didn't get him behind the 5, but or maybe he did from another angle. It looks like that he may have, but I totally agreed with his choice there. He's massing around the 5 here. Not hitting it exactly the way that he wanted, but look how fortunate he got with this shot.
And all that applause you hear is just acknowledgement of a great match on one of the outside tables. And as I said, we'll keep you right on top of that one. The 21st rack, the decider between Alex the Lion Pagulayan and the Earthquake, Keith McCready. Francisco has to try and solve this dilemma. Doesn't look like the 2 is available.
No, Reyes got very fortunate to have done what he did after contacting the 2 as poorly as he did, getting a very fortuitous kiss off the 2, sending the cue ball partially behind the 9. Bustamante made a real good effort in trying to reposition the cue ball behind the 4. I don't know if he did. You have a better look at it than I do.
Yes, I don't know whether he can get to a full 2 ball or not. It's very close. Certainly can contact the edge of it, the right edge as he looks.
He doesn't want much movement from the 2 here. That's too much movement from the 2. And I do believe he's given Bustamante a backward cut into the side. He hit his hand on the table, a sign of disgust, meaning that, hey, I gave you a shot that I shouldn't have given to you. And especially at this time of the match, 9 games apiece, that's something that he really didn't want to do. That could be the difference right there, Jim. And as thinly as Bustamante cuts balls, that didn't pose much of a problem.
No, you wouldn't have expected that error from Reyes, not at that juncture in the match.
No. No, you wouldn't have. And that's exactly what he did, what he didn't want to do. Giving Bustamante a shot from the position that he was left in was something hard for me to believe he did, but he did it. And Bustamante, the lion that he is going to jump right all over it. It looks like that Bustamante is going to be the first player to reach the hill. And who would have thought that was going to happen watching the beginning of the match?
Nice easy 8. Just stroke it in the pocket, and the 9's going to be there. And very shortly, Francisco is going to be looking for a big break in what he hopes is going to be the last rack he plays. The 9 down, 10-9 the score here, and Bustamante will be breaking off in rack number 20.
You get free shipping when you call us toll-free 866-774-8770 or visit us online at pooltablecleaner.com. Get the chalk off today.
Francisco Bustamante finds himself on the verge of a big win over his buddy Efren Reyes. 10-9 the score. And every chance here, the way he breaks the balls, Billy.
Well, I think Efren should consider himself very fortunate to get back to the table. Exactly what you said. The way he breaks the balls, he's probably a favorite to win the match right here. Okay, he pocketed the 2 balls on the break, but the 1 ball is positioned down this end of the table. If that's the 3 ball to the right of the 1, and I do believe it is, he's going to be forced to bank the 1 ball right back to his left, playing position for the 3. In the event that he should miss this bank, he has that wall of balls, the 5, 6, and the 8 to use as blockers, and also the 9 to use as blockers if he misses the 1. Oh, I don't believe he did that.
He played a billiard shot, tried to pocket
I don't
the
believe
7.
he did that.
No, that was a bit, well, I feel like saying desperate. You know, the finish line may have appeared, and he decided to lunge over it instead of maintaining that steady stroke. And
I mean, he went to the billiard like there wasn't even any decision that was the correct shot. You know, like he maybe didn't even look at the other shot. Watch out. Okay, he's rather awkward here on the 3, and the 4 is positioned to the left side of the table near the side pocket. Oh, excuse me, the 4, that wasn't the 3. See, that's the 7 on there. That's why he went for the billiard. That was the 7. I thought that was the 3.
well, would you believe it? It looks very much like we're going to be treated to yet another 10-10 match between 2 great champions. What a feast of 9-ball that the U.S. Open has served up for us here tonight.
Exactly. And now I don't blame Bustamante for playing the billiard on the 7, because the 7 was not the 3, it was the 7, which made it the right shot. In the meantime, Reyes is looking to tie up the match at 10 apiece and will have the advantage in breaking the balls in the final game.
And this 9 is going to provide us with more suspense. And there you go, another hill between 2 of the best players to ever come out of the Philippines. Francisco Bustamante and Efren Reyes. Now Reyes breaking for the win.
Well, you got to make Reyes a favor here, considering how balls have been pocketed on the break with relative ease. I mean, it just seems like every time a player breaks the balls on this table, they pocket at least 1 ball. So knowing that, you would have to make a break to break a big favorite.
Efren, if he could order one good break, he's had a few in this match, there'd be no better time than right now. Winding it up. Bustamante hoping for a chance.
And Reyes broke him a lot harder than he normally breaks them. Or at least he broke him a lot harder than he's been breaking them.
Well, I just saw Francisco's reaction, Billy, and he looked away because he knew that Reyes had a shot at the 1 and the 2 was in the same area.
Yeah, the 1's lying in front of the upper right-hand corner. The 2 cross table from the 1, slightly positioned somewhere in the center of the lower part of the table.
A real look of resignation on Francisco's face. And I don't think anyone in the arena expects Efren Reyes to miss from here.
Well, Bustamante certainly doesn't expect it because, you know, he has to be thinking the worst right now after missing the billiard on the 7, preceding rack, giving him a chance to win the match, only to see Reyes run out from that position, break the balls, and come up with a relatively simple run out for the match run, for the match game.
Well, that desperate shot that Francisco played in the preceding rack where he tried to billiard the 7 could well come back to haunt him.
Reyes is in perfect line on the 3. He has an option to play position for the 5 in the side or in the same corner he pockets the 3 in. He's looking at the side. So he'll cut the 4 in with a little bit of left-hand English, hitting it softly, keeping a nice angle for the side. 6 position very close to the corner pocket. 7 position near the lower right-hand pocket. If he's got straight in on the 5, then he's going to be forced to just roll up about 6 inches and accept a little longer shot than he wanted. But in spite of that, I still think he's going to do well with it. He's got the proper angle on the 6. He'll be able to draw the ball back close to the 7. Not that he needs to be close to the 7, but it's almost free, so he'll probably do that. Well, he's not taking any chances.
No, distance doesn't matter here. 7 and 9 required for the win.
Now look, he's got kind of awkward here. He may have to go forward with his right-hand spin. Going backwards may create a problem here. Well, if you hit it that pure with that good speed, no problem.
Played beautifully, and the concession arrives. Francisco doesn't need him to shoot the 9. Efren Reyes, an 11-10 winner over Francisco Bustamante. He stays alive on the A side.
We're here with Francisco Bustamante, who has just fallen to his good friend Efren Reyes, 11-10, in a really heartbreaking loss, Francisco. I mean, it just seemed like all match long you were looking at very complicated runouts, you know, very difficult ways to run out. And then you fell well behind early in the match. You grinded your way back into the match, took the lead. Then Reyes tied up, you took the lead, and you were looking to win the match. You shot a 1-7 billiard, and you just couldn't put it down.
Well, you know, in the beginning, and Efren, he was playing good, you know, but he gave me a lot of chance. That's why I coming back. So, and then when the score, he was 9-10. And then I break, you know, and then I make a ball, but I got no shot with the 1 ball. And I gonna play carambol the 7 ball. But I thought, you know, I can miss this shot. And it's because this is like in the bag, you know, and I stopped to miss it. But I hit full the 1 ball. So I say, if Efren beat me this game, I might don't shoot, you know. And That's it. I never shoot, but he deserved it. You know, he played well.
Well, that's very generous of you, and that's the same way Jim and I looked at it as well in the booth. We said when Reyes won that game and prepared to break the balls in the final game, I said to Jim, which he agreed, I don't think Bustamante is going to come back to the table. That's exactly what happened, but, you know, a heartbreaking loss, but you really played superbly.
I know, yeah. And I thought, you know, the last break he break, I think he gonna jump the cue ball because, and then some ball hear it and then push back in the table. And I was jumping, you know. And I said, this is good position. I said, that's it. This is the end of the, the game. But it's okay, you know, it's no problem. It's very important I still in the tournament.
Well, that's a great way of looking at it. You know, you're a great player. You're still in the tournament. You still have an excellent chance of going all the way. With the power that you have in your break, you can go all the way. You know that.
Yeah, but it's not always come to break, you know. Sometimes you break hard and then you never make a ball. So, like him, he breaks soap and he always make the one ball and sometimes the corner ball, you know. But I can break like that. I got no power, you know. But,
Okay.
It's no problem.
Okay, anyways, Jim's with Efren right now. Let's see what Efren has to say about this victory here.
Well, I can tell you, Billy, the wee hours of the morning here in Chesapeake served up a real treat. And Efren, you knew it was going to be tough, didn't you?
Yeah, but I thought, you know, in the beginning, I think I got him 5-1. I was thinking about this time. I think I beat him because then anytime we play, we've been beating me here. And then what happened? And then starting when 5-1, he played good already, and then he make a lot of bouncy shot. He don't miss anyone.
Well, he ended up with a $500 on that 9-ball break, and I think you were trying to match him with that too, weren't you?
No, because my break is no very weak. Everybody like Bustamante, Strickland, or Mika, they break hard. That's why they make the 9-ball. To me, it's very hard.
Well, one thing about it, folks, you've got Reyes on the A side. Everyone will be watching him, and Francisco Bustamante, watch for him on the B side. He'll be fighting his way through. For all of us here in Chesapeake, Billy and Cardona, I'm Jim Weich. So long for now.